Hi, I just wanted to talk today about certain aspects of Jyotish. So, what happens in a simple way is there is the horizon, then there is the heavens, and then there's the earth beneath you. When planets are above the horizon and they rise higher and higher and higher, if they rise very high in the horizon at the time you're born, above the horizon, then we could say they have more of an influence on you. When they're below the horizon, underneath you, there's the earth between you and those planets, so they don't have as much influence. The area above the horizon ends up being what we call the houses of action, those sectors of the sky in the circle, the great wheel of the energies going below and above the horizon. It becomes the sector of action and dharma. The section below the horizon in that wheel, those sectors, those pieces of the pie, they end up being more inward energies. So they form the houses of home and maybe family, houses of health, and so on. They're a little bit more inward, especially the fourth house represents the direct opposite of where you're standing, underneath you. If you're on the earth, I know the 10th house would be directly above you, or the mid-heaven, we call it. Generally, it's connected to the 10th house, 9th house of purpose, 10th house of action, knowledge, action. And then the 4th house is below us, so that's the home and more inward. So if your energies are mostly in the 4th house, in other words, underneath you, on the other side of the earth, then you're a little bit more introverted. So this is how it works in a simple way, and then from there, the different increments, energies were derived. But the main idea is some energies are directly influencing you because they're above you, they're closer to you, you could say, and some energies are a little bit more latent because they're on the other side of the earth. They're a little quieter. And this is reflected on the map of the zodiac, the circle of the zodiac, meaning the seasonal energy. So if in that season more energies are behind the earth, we could say they're a little more latent if they're, I'm talking about the equator, as if behind the earth, below the equator. So the heavens being like the seasons, the sun rising at the equinox above the equator, getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and then going weaker and weaker and weaker, which forms the first lunar solar energy circle. And then if planets are relative to that, below the horizon, below the equator, so actually, then they're more latent. If they're higher in the sky, they're stronger. So if a planet, for example, is in Leo, it's very, very strong. And if it's in Libra, when the sun is getting to the equator and going below, in the direction of below, then it starts to become weaker and weaker. So strongest to the weakest is determined by the equator. During the day, we can also, in terms of individual houses or areas of life, that's determined by, is it above you, is it below you? So if you're born, let's say you look at a lunar chart, the moon is rising. During that moon time, if the most of the planets are above you, that's the 10th house. If you take the moon as a reference of the first house, the first energy that rises, then all the other planets are looked at from there, and if the sun is below you, then it's a little more introverted. In other words, it's on the other side of the earth relative to yourself. And if the Venus is high up in the sky relative to the moon rising, then there's more strength. And the same with rising planets. If you've got the sun rising and Jupiter is with it and Mars is with it, you could say you have a lot of energy at sunrise, and that's when the sun is, that day you were born, the sun is rising, and that is a very indicative of having the support or the blessings of those energies. You partake of them more. So that, in a very simple way, is a way to understand some of the directionality and position of the planets. So we'll continue. Take care. Bye-bye.